Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. This is Ginny from Polly's Paper Studio, and I'm here to share a mini album that I created with the Sun-Kissed collection from Graphic 45. So I would usually want to start by flipping through a tablet of a collection if I'm working with a collection. But as you can see, I really smashed this one, and there will be a few more projects to come out of this, but really we're down to scraps. But never give up your Graphic 45 scraps, because they're always good for something. So here's the book, and I'm calling it a mini, but I really feel like it's not mini. It's kind of huge. So how I started this was thinking that I did want to use the square tag book from Graphic 45, which I have a craft colored one here, and I'm going to show you the other one here in a second. But what I wanted to do was add very dimensional items inside, and as you can see, this book has a very generous amount of pages, and so there's not really a lot of room to add chipboard and spacers and flowers and such. So I thought on it for quite a while and decided that I would like to have this as a sort of Midori style or traveler's notebook. So I deconstructed the book before I began constructing it, and so I'm going to just quickly share what I did, but I feel like an actual process video would be more helpful, so that you can see the steps. But today it will be too long of a video, so I'm going to break it up. If you want to see that as a separate step out tutorial, you can just let me know in the comments. I always listen to your comments. So this is a square book, and it's 6x6, which is pretty great for scrapbooking, right? Because you're going to get a lot of use out of all the papers. But like I said, it's really bulky here, which is great for people who aren't adding embellishments. So what I did was very carefully took my straight edge around the spine and removed this whole section. It's all together, bound as one unit, which left the cover behind. And then I very carefully pried open this label holder, like pulled it right out. And then I cut apart these separate sections from the backing. And that left me with 6 of these, sort of what I'm going to call an insert, which would be what you'd have for like a Midori style. And that way you could take them out and work on them and then put them back. So this, I wound up with 6, but I only put back 4 so that I would have room for all the embellishments. So like I said, if you want to see a full step out on that, just let me know in the comments, because I feel like it may need to be more clarified. But in a traditional Midori style, they do have holes, which I punched with my crocodile and added eyelets. So I put 4 on the bottom and 4 on the top and strung it with a really good stretchy elastic. Like I'll show you in the next coming video, or you could just check out Stringing a Midori. There's like plenty of inspiration. That's where I found out the steps to string it correctly. But so this left me with this as my cover, and you can see here where I put the eyelets and I strung that twine through. So what I get is all of the big loops are on the inside. And I just went ahead and slipped these underneath of that string. So I have 6 or 4 strings going this way, and then I put the book inserts behind it. So now what I get is, this is very full, and I would not have been able to add all the chunky embellishments without removing a few of these sections. So let me just gonna cover the cover first. I did add quite a few chipboard elements. These are from Gypsy Soul laser cuts, and I will link them in the description below. And layered quite a few of the patterns with some fussy cut images. And then I should also mention these came from the ephemera pack. I got that as well. There are beautiful coordinating flowers. I put some netting. This is just sort of to emulate fishnet, I guess. There's twine, more of the chipboard and prills, and some sequins. So I think that is pretty well detailed for a cover. And then once I had the strings in place, I added some, no, can you see that? These are the staple keys from Graphic 45. And I added just some crystal beads to that. And then there's also some more hanging charms. So this has hearts and keys and little dangly bits. And then I also added a fair amount of ribbon here. This is, it's got a pretty silver edge. Oh, that's the ice maker going off if you just heard that. There is a twine bow and a vintage button. So this looks pretty nice from the outside. It's got a lot of detail to check out. So once I had the cover figured out, then I started into the middle. Now, like I said, this was the craft book, not the one with the pattern on it. But, you know, that might not have been a bad combination either, because that's sort of a corally reddish rust color. And so here's why I needed more room, is I wanted to add spacers and chipboard bits and flowers. So because I had 4 of these, I used 4 of the focal images. This was the 8x8 paper pad, and I just chose the cutter parts that I felt like I really liked for focal images and layered them on top of the pattern paper, which, I mean, it all goes together great. So I just put different combinations in, and then I added some more of the chipboard and twine and some die cut doilies. This one was left over from the inside tag when I cut it from the ephemera sheet or the ephemera pack. So there are 4 actual like inside covers. So this, the outside cover, and here's the cover for this separate insert. And then this one here has a sweet little beach umbrella and an Adirondack chair and starfish. I don't actually know what color starfish is, so I just made it gold. More of that cut apart, I popped that up on a spacer, so it's very dimensional. The next one is my favorite. I added a banner to that fussy cut focal image, more of the flowers and chipboard, and then this little doily cut from navy. I think this is my favorite pattern, that blue stripe. It's very nautical. Okay, so the last insert has a lighthouse, and then this was a wave. All this chipboard is from Gypsy Soul laser cuts. So this was part of the collection pack that had the lighthouses and the shells. So it was sort of a wave, and I left it in craft because I thought that it really actually went well with the craft color background. So you don't always have to alter the chipboard. If it goes with your matting or with your background, you know, just leave it because it's going to be coordinated. So another large image, and I turned the stripe on its side this time and used some of that border strip. And then I did finish the inside here with the coordinating paper patterns before I punched the holes, which was quite a traumatic experience because I tried to do math and it didn't really go so well. So I just sort of asked my hubby for help, and he shared with me how to wing it. And so I love how it turned out, even if it caused me to have to do math. So each section now, each insert, I should say, is removable. I'm not going to take it out here, but you could remove it from the, this is the gold stretchy elastic, and work on it separately. or you could just leave it in here because it's pretty solid and it's going to be easy to work in. So each one will have a cover. The inside has an additional pocket with a large tag. These come in the book. This, like I said, was a graphic 45 tag book. And so I used images from the ephemera pack, but the opposite side. So it would have like a focal side, and then this would be the alternate side. And there happened to be 4 that had really cute sort of beachy sentiments on them. So I utilized that. I used the same matting for these and then rounded the corners because that way it would kind of follow the tag shape. And then on the back, I just left for journaling, or you could add more pictures. There's a lot of room in here to add things. And then I really did consider putting some ribbon on this, but I want it to not be too bulky. There's room for pictures and different things, but I think adding fiber to the top would cause it to get out of shape. So the first one I did cover the pocket. There's a pocket here. But once this was all covered in paper, it got really tight. So I was thinking anything that was put in here may get bent up or, you know, twisted out of shape. So just for the next sections, I went ahead and covered it like it was just a page. If you want to add something to a pocket, each end page has some here. So there's plenty of room to put things, and then these are really great for larger pictures. And I think too, you could journal on that and it would show up just fine. So each one now has like 3 and then a tag and then a pocket. So each has similar, it has a stripe on the side or down the bottom, and just different combinations of the pattern paper, which is really cute. This is like a beach umbrella stripe, I think, or a chair stripe. And this one, like I said, I just gave up on the, oh, I didn't show you the tag. Isn't that one sweet? I do like that. Reminds me of when my kids were little. We always took our trips to the beach for our family vacation, and we still do sometimes when we can get away with everybody, but they're all grown up and doing their own thing now, so sadly we don't get to go as often as we'd like. This one has a shovel and a bucket. So cute. Get in there. Ugh. And this one is my favorite pattern again. Turned it on its side so that it would be having a little bit of a different detail. Really, there's like, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 16 full-size pages, 4 pockets on the inside with tags, and then 4 pockets on the outside. And then I did finish the inside of the back cover and the back cover as well with that coordinating stripe. So this is the mini that became mega. Look how thick that is. Oh, I love it so much. This is going to be great, filled up with family memories and mementos of vacations and trips with your kiddos. So that is all for this. Once again, I'm using the graphic for, look at, that's all I have left of that tablet. I used the back cover even. Huh. This is Sunkissed by Graphic 45, and I love it. This is the square book with tags. The chipboard is all from Gypsy Soul laser cuts, and the ribbon is from Really Reasonable Ribbon. So I will link all that below, as well as our social media sites. So you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and our blog and our Etsy shop. We're like everywhere. So you can find all that in the description below. So if you want to see a step-out tutorial on how I altered the book base, you can leave me a comment in the description. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.